and had a really, really good conversation with Trent, who is one of the 3 owners of Moravian. If you are ever in, I just tried to drip for the first time, and it was so good.
Living my dream, getting lucid. The cool kids, but it's mixed with that hick shit. Can't act like the rest.
If you are ever in Dallas-Fort Worth, make a trip down south to Moravian Coffee. Super good coffee. And I kind of just wanted to share my thoughts with you as I drive. This will probably be a fairly long podcast, longer than typical, because I think I have a lot to say. And I also have an hour drive, so I got time. Hopefully you do too. Buckle in. Real quick, I do this thing called Morning Pages, which is inspired by The Artist's Way. Basically, you're supposed to write 3 pages of unconscious or subconscious thought right in the morning. I was doing it for a while, and then this week I stopped. I wrote today a little bit, and then I realized that the last time I did it was 6 days ago, which is almost a week. And so just like that, a week passed without me doing this exercise. I wouldn't say this was my worst 6 days since being here, but around the beginning of me not doing those pages was definitely a bad time. I brought that up because this feels like Morning Pages, except it's 7:30 p.m. and I'm not writing, I'm speaking. But writing is a good exercise for the mind. So let's talk about writing. I can see the effects already of just doing that for more than a week, the Morning Pages. My cognitive ability, my ability to speak, sometimes I have a little brain fog right now because I have allergies, and also my ability to understand and write. My vocabulary has expanded simply by writing 3 pages in the morning. And this is so important, it's so crucial. The world that we know today exists, and our knowledge of the world of the past exists solely because of words. Language, vocabulary. So definitely make it a practice to write, to journal every single day. You'll improve your cognitive abilities like crazy. And that's something I've been meditating on recently. Is I want to be articulate, I want to be knowledgeable of the world around me, even though to a certain extent, like politics for instance, I don't really care about, but I should at least understand what's going on. There's a conversation, Jordan Peterson, John Vervaeke, and the title is called a dangerous discussion you might get wisdom from, something like that. And it's on Jordan's YouTube, and they talk about the sin of commission and the sin of omission, commission and omission. The sin of omission is more likely or more probable the sins that you commit. It's sins where you're not aware that you're sinning, and it's still a sin. And so sin is like you're not hitting the mark, you're not doing something the way it should be done or how it should be done or with the right intention, etc. And they were talking about the depth of that and how the sin of omission we're still responsible for, even though we're not aware of it. And so we do, as humans, have a responsibility, because this is what makes us humans, our consciousness. We have a responsibility to understand the world around us. We're responsible, the decisions, the way we move, the actions that we commit, regardless of if we've been taught right, regardless of where we've come up in childhood. Laws are laws, and if you break the law, you go to prison, unless you have an actual mental disability. But that's the only reason you are freed or pardoned from a law. You don't have an excuse. You didn't know the law. It's not an excuse. The law is written on your heart anyway. But yeah, the law, the sin of omission. And I was talking to Trent today. We were talking about church. He was asking me about if I go to Upper Room, and I said I've only been there once since I've been here, so I don't necessarily call it my church. I was talking about the Orthodox Church and how my friend Patrick is a monk, and how I got into the Orthodoxy and just learning about it through Patrick this last year before moving here, and how the sin of omission is something that me and Patrick have spoken about before. And this is just a brief thing, and then I'll change the topic. I have a lot of thoughts, and I'm trying to follow those thoughts. But the sin of omission is what I'm saying is we need to take responsibility for our lives, and this is something that I want to get better at as an individual, is being aware of the world around me. Because I don't have an excuse if I didn't take the time to learn. It's kind of paradoxical, ironic, like, but you have this time. What are you using the time for? Are you studying? Are you meditating? And also, it just helps you in community. And I feel today was a very nice day at Moravian. Like I said, I feel comfortable to navigate the shop more than I have before, and in terms of making drinks and just understanding the layout of everything. And so I was able to really just like hone in a little bit on conversations that Trent had with strangers or regulars, and the way that the conversation flowed and continued because of Trent's knowledge of coffee or of travel, and just his spontaneous conversational abilities. And I think sometimes I'm not super skilled with conversations. I don't know always how
Less money, more woes, had to risk it. Oh, you thought I couldn't do it?